Number 10. The Pyramids. Now, I'm not just talking about the pyramids in Giza, I'm talking about ancient pyramids located all around the world, all with around the same structure and size. The pyramids in Mexico, Rome, Korea, the list just goes on and on. They're all massive monuments and were built more or less around the same time and span all across the globe. And do remember, this was way before global communication was possible. Many people around the world believe that these pyramids were created by aliens. They're just too similar to be purely coincidental. They argue that the blocks used to build these pyramids are way too heavy, and the pyramids themselves are so tall there is no way humans then could have ever built them, especially without any real technology to do it. Number 9. UFO sightings. There have been reports of UFO sightings in the skies of Earth from as long ago as 214 BCE, and since then there have been periodic sightings all throughout recorded history. Now, it's understandable that you don't believe a couple of wackos say they saw a flying saucer in the sky, but what about the thousands or tens of thousands of people with similar stories? At least one of those people would probably be telling the truth, right? This is especially applicable to people from thousands of years ago, as at the beginning of recorded history where the sightings began. There probably wasn't any real concept of gaining fame from fake sightings. Nonetheless, there haven't really been any actual graphical or photographic evidence to support a sighting, so there are still skeptics. Number 8. Abduction stories. There have been hundreds of tales from people all around the world with their own abduction stories, and for the most part they all go somewhat along the lines of, I got abducted and next thing I knew I was on a table with 4 gray aliens surrounding me. The Greys would then take samples from the abductee and then let him or her go. If you're just hearing that for the first time, you'll probably think it's just a load of complete crap. But when multiple people say they've been abducted and experimented on in the same way, isn't it a little suspicious? You might be thinking the abductees are just going off each other's stories of abduction, but that would be impossible, as many of these abduction stories occurred in such remote places that no concept of alien abductions were ever apparent. On top of that, there are recorded abductions from as far back as 1894. Number 7. Area 51. Oh, the conspiracies of Area 51. It is thought by many to be one of the best covered up and most held onto secrets in US history. Since Area 51 is a place of such secretive operations, many skeptics have called out the airbase for harboring aliens or alien spacecrafts. Ever since the Roswell incident, where material thought to be from an alien spacecraft was found in the field, people have called out Area 51 for covering it up. Multiple presidential nominees have come forward during their campaigns to reveal the secrets of Area 51. Most recently, President Obama. But none have actually owned up to the promise. Well, unless you count that half-assed "it was just a joke" reveal 2 years ago, where the US government pretty much just said that there's nothing there and they didn't break up the superstition because they thought the theories were funny. Number 6. Mystery signals. All across planet Earth, there are satellites waiting to pick up mysterious signals, and some actually have. Random echoes from random places across the universe are no big deal, as they're most likely just the remnants of sounds from stars or galaxies colliding. But recently, there have been repeated radio signals being picked up by a satellite here on Earth, coming from the same direction. Scientists classify these short bursts of radio signals as FRBs, or frequent radio bursts. There were a total of 10 FRBs over May and June last year, each and every one coming from the same direction. Reportedly, there were even FRBs from that same direction all the way back in 2012. Don't you think that's a little bit odd? Constantly getting radio signals from the same place over the course of 5 years? Unfortunately, little success has been made towards translating these messages, as they seem to be nothing more than static. Number 5. Extremophiles. Extremophiles are molecular-sized animals that are not visible to the naked eye, and can survive in both the hottest and coldest environments. From the hot insides of volcanoes to the freezing ice of glaciers, these little guys just won't die. Extremophiles have been exposed to large doses of radiation by scientists, and as many as 65% of them survived. If extremophiles are able to survive such harsh conditions on Earth, then why wouldn't they be able to survive the harsh or even harsher conditions on another planet? Some extremophiles were even sent up into space to see how they would fare, and many of them survived from a whopping 13 days in space without any sustenance whatsoever. Number 4. Tardigrades. Probably the most famous extremophiles as well as the most populous animal on the planet, these 1 millimeter long animals are so weird and yet so tough that they survived through all 5 mass extinctions that this planet has faced. So what is it about these animals that makes them so tough? Well, scientists have been pondering that same question for years now, and it seems that we may have some sort of answer. Tardigrades are remnants of alien life that came to this planet by some miracle millions, if not billions, of years ago, and their DNA proves it. Scientists mapped out the entire genome of the tardigrades, and roughly 1/6 of this amazing creature's DNA was found to be completely unique and unlike any other animal on the planet. If that doesn't count for evidence that aliens exist, I'm not sure what does. Number 3. Apollo 11 sightings. Apollo 11 was the first manned mission to the moon, and was completed by the good old US of A. The crew of the Apollo 11 were the first humans to set foot on Earth's next door neighbor, and actually hand-collected samples from the moon. Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, claimed that while he was up there, he spotted something very odd while collecting samples, an unidentifiable flying object in the sky. Assuming it was just part of the ship that they had jettisoned earlier, he and his crew sent a cryptic message back to the mission control asking about its location. The twist? Mission Control said that the location of said piece was 6,000 nautical miles away from Apollo 11, a distance which Buzz knew was way too far away to see. Begging the question, what was it? Number 2. Water. Called the elixir of life by many scientists, the extremely weird properties of water make it perfect for sustaining life. Isn't it a little weird that wherever life is bountiful, water is present? That's why scientists look for water first and foremost when determining whether or not a planet can sustain life. That's why when humans found water on Mars, many skeptics and professionals around the world began to believe that Mars had an atmosphere, and that at one point in its 4.5 billion years of existence, Mars sustained life. Number 1. Probability. There are 8 planets to our one star, there are billions of stars to our one galaxy, and there are billions of galaxies to our one universe. It just makes sense. The universe is far too big for it not to contain some other living beings besides us. Each and every star in the galaxy is thought by astrologists to have around the same number of planets orbiting it as our own. It just makes sense that out of the estimated 10 to the 24 planets out there in the universe, there would be at least one other planet that has life and can sustain intelligent alien life forms. This doesn't even take into consideration the moons of said planets. In our solar system, there is thought to be microorganisms living in the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. So wouldn't it only be logical to assume that there are other moons out there covered in microorganisms? I don't know. You tell me.